Good morning, everyone. As we are here from Johannesburg, Embassy Direct, today with following our reopening of global tourism. Today with the presentation of Kenya.
The timelines. Now about the budgets, that one, I don't know whether.
Yes. I will introduce now High Commissioner Jan Kamov from the High Commission of Kenya in South Africa for her welcoming words. High Commissioner.
Thank you very. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Ambassador Rodrigo and colleagues from the Embassy Direct. Thank you very much for helping, working alongside the Kenya High Commission to set up this webinar, which is very important for Kenya in terms of having an opportunity to disseminate information and share information about the opportunities within our tourism sector. Kenya reopened its borders on 1st August 2020 after a shutdown following the diverse effects of the COVID pandemic on our country and indeed other African countries. So we're very pleased to have this opportunity to share what is new, what is available following the reopening of our borders. And for us, our economy relies heavily on the industry. And looking at the reopening of our borders and research business and tourism will add value to economic development and indeed a resumption of economic activity in our country. So
we lost you, High Commissioner. Our apologies, we're having some technical problems. 1 second.
I think it's just her signal, Rodrigo.
Her signal.
Yeah.
I think we lost, yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
Great. Ambassador, I don't know what's going on here. Did you hear me there?
Ambassador,
Hello?
we can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. So just to reiterate that this is an important event for us in terms of sharing critical information about the resumption of tourism in Kenya, the pros and cons, what the opportunities are, and to hear this information directly for officers within the Kenya government who are involved in this, who have this mandate, and also from the sector itself. So Ambassador Rodrigo, because of time, I'll just hand over back to you so that we can get on with the presentations. And once again, thank you very much.
Thanks, High Commissioner. Yes, as explained by High Commissioner, today we are going to be looking at all the protocols and preparations of Kenya is doing in order to open its borders for international tourism. As our first speaker, the Honorable Safina Kwekwe from the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife of Kenya, and she will be addressing the policies in place regarding tourism in Kenya post-COVID-19 and tourism opportunities and incentive in Kenya. Honorable Safina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rodriguez, and thank you very much, High Commissioner. It's a very good morning from us here in Nairobi to you. And I will be able to share a snapshot of where our journey since COVID as Kenya to where we are now. And allow me to just say that for us as Kenya, tourism is very key to our economy. Our numbers were 1.56 billion US dollars last year. But of course, this year, the story is different. And of course, from the global numbers of tourism, 1.5 billion tourists in 2019, we have had a drastic decline for Kenya between January and June this year. And I'll be able to share with you the numbers in a moment. We opened our airspace, of course, 1st of August. And in the month of August, we recorded arrivals of 6,000 individuals to Kenya. This includes, 14,000, but 6,000 of them, these were people coming back home, either through the massive evacuations, and only 6,000 of them were here for holidays and business. So we've seen that in the month of August, in comparison to last year, same time, we've seen that there is a decline of about 96% in terms of arrivals, excluding Kenyans, of course. And the period January to June 2020, in comparison to January to June 2019, we also again seen a decline of 52 or 58%. We've had some interest, resumption of service by some of the key airline partners, and in order of frequency, Qatar Airways is the highest, Emirates, Air France, Lufthansa, and KLM. These are the top 5. And of course, KQ, which is our carrier, flies most frequently to Addis Ababa, then Dubai, Juba, Kigali, London, and Yaoundé. So these, you can see from these destinations and the airlines, the kind of traffic that we attract into the country sees resumption of service of airline services. The effects is that in the month of March to July, we saw 10% occupancy rates across the board, from the coast to Lake Victoria. But most importantly, what was most hit was MICE. Because of the restriction that we have made by government on matters of social distancing. We can only have meetings of up to 15 people. And that therefore means that conferences, events, conventions, all these are now not viable in the context of COVID. I already said that we have had 96% drop in international tourist arrivals in the month of August, as compared to last year, same period. And of course, the 58 drop of arrivals from Jan to June 2020, as compared to same time last year. This excludes Kenyans, of course. So the government in March, May, and June proclaimed measures to cushion the tourism industry and entire economy, in essence, in the wake of COVID. And there were those that were tax-based measures, reduction in turnover tax from 3 to 1, 100% relief on low-income earners, that is below 24 Kenya shillings income. Then we had reduction in VAT, of course, a reduction in pay as you earn, which is from 30 to 25. And of course, the reduction in corporate tax for businesses from 30 to 25%. But we also had physical and monetary measures that the government put in place. And for the tourism sector specifically, we had a 500 million that was set aside from the tourism budget for recovery. And this mainly for PR and also for re-entering the markets. And we have also the Kenya shillings 4 billion stimulus plan for tourism recovery. And this is mainly for refurbishment of facilities, business restructuring, and aggressive marketing of the destination. Other physical and monetary measures include the reduction in bank rates, et cetera. But of interest here is that many of our tourism players are in the small and micro SMEs, small and medium enterprises, and they were at the risk of being listed on the Credit Reference Bureau. So the government pronounce that there will be suspension of listing, because many of them obviously would have defaulted and therefore they would have been uncreditworthy. So that has really helped many of our SMEs in the tourism sector to remain creditworthy and be able to access commercial services. Of course, for Kenya, we developed our protocols for reopening, and these we did in partnership with the private sector. And I think Macharia, Mike, will be able to speak more on this, but this is one of we were the second sector after industry to develop the protocols, which have really informed the business enterprises across the entire ecosystem of tourism and travel on how to be to get back into business, but in a safe mode. We also participated in the development of aviation protocols. Reason being that tourism and aviation are closely interlinked, and therefore we again lent a hand to our colleagues in the aviation sector to develop the protocol that now is what has been governing the reopening of the international airspace. Of the 4 billion stimulus package that the government assigned to the sector, 3 billion of these Kenya shillings was towards tourism enterprises for their refurbishment and also for restructuring their business operations. This is in the form of a soft loans, and we have rolled out this program this month. We are currently in the process of revising our national tourism policy so that it is in sync with the realities of such kind of emergencies and crisis. And of course, also that will lead to strengthening of our institutions within the tourism ministry. Starting March to date, we've been having frequent virtual meetings with tourism stakeholders to collectively prepare for and mitigate the impact of COVID. We have also partnered with academia and specifically Kenyatta University to develop strategies on tourism recovery and tourism crisis management. Again, we have also partnered with research bodies to implement our war room strategy to inform decision-making during crisis situations. And we continue to give frequent positive messaging on tourism situation on media, both here at home and also internationally. So the opportunities that are available for us and which we would like the world to know is that we have re-engineered our tourism bias towards domestic tourism, domestic and regional tourism. And this is the reason why we have had very aggressive Destination Kenya marketing locally within Kenya and also with our neighbors as a cushion towards full recovery of tourism probably in the next 2 years. We have also seen the power of alliances, not just in the consultations and that we've had with the private sector, but also even with with civil society organizations, both in the tourism sector and also conservation sector. And this has been very instrumental because it is what will drive sustainable value for us and growth in the destination appeal to the market. We have ongoing program that is on digitalizing our tourism resources. We are doing this again in partnership with academia, the Kenyatta University specifically, just to map and our resources, and also to organize virtual events to showcase our key, what we can call them, flagship, tourism experiences. And the digitalization of the tourism product inventory is underway, and it has brought on board all the public sector in tourism and also the private sector in tourism. And when I mean public sector, I mean national government and the county government, the 47 county governments. It has become apparent to us really that in tourism, people matter. And therefore for us, our focus now is on communities, and they're embracing tourism as a means to sustainable development. And therefore we are doing this both at home and also internationally. We have also noted that the role of data is very crucial now. For example, when we look at the trend analysis of arrivals contribution to the economy by the sector. We really have, this has been very useful to retain our relevance in the economy, but most importantly to inform decisions that are made by both the industry and also by government when it comes to matters of in the presence of COVID-19. And we have really been working on building the confidence of the market into Kenya as a destination. And that's why when we launched our protocols in July 2020, we did that after getting the safe travel seal stamp from the WTC, but also we also got the safe tourism seal, which all these are geared towards creating confidence that Kenya is COVID resilient and therefore it is safe for people to travel. Recently, actually last week or thereabout, Kenya and Morocco were appointed by the UNWTO Council to represent Africa on the Tourism Online Education Technical Committee. And this, we've realized online education is going to be very important going forward because of the restrictions on people converging, but also because of the power of technology that has been unleashed by COVID-19. And therefore the use of IT and the improvement of the standards in dissemination of information to tourists is one of the things that we're working on currently as a country. And we are working together with all our stakeholders, both in private sector and otherwise, to ensure that our products are well packaged and marketed using the digital platforms. As we also review our national tourism policy, one thing that has come alive to us is that we must diversify our products beyond beach and safari. And therefore now there's more focus on agro-tourism, on sports tourism, medical tourism, et cetera. And these are the things that now going forward is where we will be able to put our energies to be able, one, to profile them, but also to package them appropriately for the relevant markets. So in conclusion, I want to say that as much as COVID has been a crisis, it has also made us aware that it is time to transform. The industry must transform by starting new conversations, listening more to stakeholders and partners and clients, and also build trusted networks that will support the innovation required for business rotation and recovery. I wish to end there and say thank you very much for inviting me to give these insights. And of course, I'm available for more comments and clarification. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Safina. Very interesting exposure about how your country is dealing with COVID-19 and the reopening of your borders. Kenya and South Africa both are African countries that really rely in tourism because they are one of the main African destinations for world traveling south of the Sahara. So hopefully our attendees will also be able to learn from the experience that Kenya is having right now. To our attendees, I would like to request to kindly send through our chat icon your email address, courtesy of the High Commissioner of Kenya. Embassy Direct is giving away samples of powdered coffee, so you can have a taste of Kenya before you can take your next plane and visit Nairobi and the other fascinating cities in that beautiful country. Now I would like to give the floor to Dr. Betty Adero from the Tourism Board of Kenya. She will talk to us about the tourist attractions and tourism products in her country and Kenya is an outstanding tourist destination. Dr. Adero, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ron, and thank you very much to the High Commissioner and our Principal Secretary for the very apt introduction that she has given as relates to tourism in Kenya. As she mentioned, there's a lot of work that's been done to ready the destination to be ready to receive guests. So if I can ask for my slides to be put up.
Hello, can you kindly share from your screen, Dr.
All right, just 1 second. Sorry, Ron, I'm having challenges uploading it. I'd forwarded it to the High Commission and they confirmed receipt. Are they able to share it on screen? All right, I think maybe we have luck. Just 1 second. Right. So thank you very much. If we can just start off by taking a look initially at the aspect of reopening of tourism in Kenya, and Kenya as a truly outstanding destination, tourism destination. As I will not belabor the point around the preparation that we have put in place as a destination to be ready to receive guests in the new normal. I'll go through a brief introduction for the destination and basically focus my presentation on being able to, in a couple of minutes, just give the audience an indication of the richness of magical Kenya. We'll talk about the places and the people and products and then the destination readiness. At a glance, we are a destination of about 50 million people. We cover an area of about 582,000 kilometers. Almost the size of approximately half the size of Ethiopia. Our languages are Swahili and English. These are the official languages. And I think for purposes of a tourism presentation, it is up to say that we lie on both sides of the equator and therefore enjoy a mild all year-round climate, because that is key. I think the Principal Secretary mentioned a really key aspect in the way we have moved into the new normal, looking at our country. And we have moved away from just looking at what have been our staple products for a long, long time. And we are looking at what else Kenya has to offer. So diversity is one of the key pillars of how we perceive that we will go into the new normal. So there's a lot of focus around multi-experience that is provided within the destination. And because we have so much diversity, which I'll be able to demonstrate in a minute, we're able to say that we will promise you a multi-experience destination that is driven by rich culture, that is driven by basically our policies around conservation and our policy around community development, our policies around ensuring that people are having an authentic experience when they're in the destination, and looking at areas that we would not have considered hitherto because we were too focused on basically the staple sun and basically beach and safari. But even as I go through to the northern part of Kenya, you will find that there's lots and lots of opportunities that are provided in those areas that we have not talked about as a destination. the one thing that we take for granted is things around our landscapes and our sunsets, and basically the various color that is available within the destination that we call Magical Kenya. So as we say that the magic awaits you, we would like to, first of all, just give you a synopsis of the people. These are 50 million Kenyans with a growing middle class, vibrant people in colors and attitude, and you will see that as I go through my presentation. We are a devolved state, so we're looking at about 44 unique cultures, and people are passionate about their country. We have a resilient spirit, and therefore, even as we move towards the new normal, we move with confidence, saying that the country has a lot to offer. We have gone through the process of articulating and demarcating, as is represented in the map, the richness of experiences that Kenya has to offer. So when you look at Nairobi, which is the city and is the capital, there you meet urban experiences and wildlife, being a city that is the only city in the world that has a national park in the CBD. And following this basic update, I will then share some visuals that will give you a feel and an experience of the destination, even as you look forward to visiting the destination. We then move on to the Central Highlands, which is this area here. And here, this meets Kenya's highest peak through the mountain, but also within that area, you have the luxury of being able to experience flying safaris around the mountain. You're able to experience wildlife in that area, culture as it covers the area around Samburu. When you move into Lamu and the coastal region, you come into a whole experience of the essence of Swahili culture. It is driven by a destination, because we call each of our experiences a destination. Mombasa and South Coast is a place that is steeped in history. You can go through the history around the Arabs, the Portuguese, and this is before around the 1500s. Rich culture and heritage and great diversity. And the beauty of this is you're going to be spanning between beach, you're going to be spanning between sports, conservation as driven by some of the communities in that area around Watamu, who have a very big drive towards turtle conservation. There's also the innovation around cleaning of the marine life and ensuring that the issue around implementing and ensuring that we uphold the plastic ban, which was announced by a cabinet secretary as a fundamental part to ensuring sustainability in tourism. So all that goes on there, and it is available as part of the experiences that you have, even as you enjoy the holiday. When we come to the southern part of Kenya, we are now looking at nature, wildlife, adventure, culture, and heritage, and this includes both driven safaris as well as walking safaris, especially in the Mara area. The Western Kenya is basically a world of landscapes, heritage, and culture. And you can move from lakes to rainforests. When you come to, sorry, that should actually be closer to southern Kenya. When I talked about Masai Mara, it's basically the greatest show on earth. It's our most expensive and price and revered destination, safari destination, having won a number of awards over the years. And in this area, you can enjoy ballooning, hiking, and horseback safaris. We then have the Great Rift Valley, which is basically a journey through valleys and lakes. And Northern Kenya, which is our new frontier, brings with it an experience in desert, in tribal heartland, and basically a whole other history around the area where we call the cradle of mankind, that helps people to really engage in the culture and the heritage of that area. So the next couple of slides will merely be just pictorials of some of the things that I have mentioned. So in terms of diverse experiences, we're talking about being able to enjoy city life, something around adventure, something about being in the wilderness and the beach. When you come to Nairobi, we call it vibrant city escapes, where we're known as Green City in the Sun. It's a destination in its own right with world-class hotels, malls, entertainment spots, green spaces which are ideal for the whole family. There's also learning opportunities as provided by the museum. These are some of the aspects of the city. With the Daphne Sheldrick, which is a conservation and a rehabilitation center for the elephants, people are able to really enjoy both the city life as well as contribute back to the community. The Kenya coast, as I mentioned, is steeped in heritage. The Central Rift Valley, we are very pleased that one of the benefits that COVID was able to bring with it was the return of the flamingos to both to Lake Nakuru and Bogoria, and therefore we are really pleased about that. Mount Kenya combines both scenes of culture, a good round of golf, having one of the best golf courses in that area, in one of the locations, and then of course landscape. North Rift experiences are around landscape, around different features, geological features that are available for viewing. And then of course Western Kenya with their amazing sunsets, their culture heritage, and being home to the Kakamega Forest, which is home to more than 1,300 bird species. Northern Kenya is the new frontier. I think our Principal Secretary mentioned the need to engage in communities, engage in their culture, engage in their history as part of not only experience, but part of embracing the destination and what the destination has to offer as provided by the 44 cultural experiences. So there are different ways to experience Kenya, and this includes from forest flying, as I mentioned, camel walking safaris, horseback riding, biking through game parks, balloon safaris, yoga in the wild, and you name it. In partnership with our private sector stakeholders, they've gone really a long way in terms of trying to reinvent the experience and the form in which that we are able, and in which people are able to have the experience. Together with that, we have what we call the Magical Kenya Signature Experiences. And this is curated, unique and exceptional Kenyan travel experiences. This is available for viewing on our website, which is www.magicalkenya.com. And we are able to, through this experience, first of all, recognize the efforts that our partners in the private sector have made in terms of being able to provide world-class experiences within their destinations, but also to call out the richness of how these experiences are being provided. So going forward from where the Principal Secretary left in terms of the gradual promotion of the destination, between the period that was March to June, where we say it was literally the COVID period, we as a destination continued to stay top of mind with messaging that was similar to most other destinations, which was around the stay safe travel, or stay safe and travel tomorrow. There was a crisis management and tourism recovery strategy that was embraced by both the private sector as well as and engagements, both locally, regionally, and international. We were able to ensure that the destination was kept top of mind. As we move to the pre-recovery period, which is July to August, you will see that the messaging around what we're saying for the destination is around providing virtual tours, which we're able to do all of the time that the pandemic had people stay at home and various destinations had lockdown. But we have then embellished that with features of Today in the Destination, which are live experiences in the destination as provided by the various experiences that I have put up. As we move forward, we're inviting people to rediscover the magic, because we are ready and the destination is open and we have protocols in place, as my colleagues will attest to as we go on with the discussion. So we have kick-started our industry, obviously focusing on domestic. There's a lot of collaboration and work happening with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as our private sector, Ministry of Health and Government, to ensure that we're able to, first of all, ensure that the protocols are well known to most people considering traveling to the destination, but also that we are collaborating with different destinations and governments to be able to provide the prerequisite information that they're able to provide to their citizenry, so that they're able to feel comfortable when they consider Kenya as a destination to visit. And we're saying that normalcy will indeed return and people will be able to travel freely again. The Principal Secretary talked in depth about this safe travel seal that we were able to achieve from the World Travel and Tourism Council. This has gone a long way towards just endorsing our readiness and our readiness in the health and safety protocols, which my colleague will be speaking to in a while. This has been supported through the Kenya Tourism Board by ensuring that through webinars and various digital platforms, people are able to access us and to be able to communicate with us and collaborate with us to just understand how ready we are and to address any of the concerns they may have. So in closing, I'd like to leave you with a video that basically is our invite to you to rediscover the magic that is already waiting for you.
The wait is over. After what seemed like endless months and weeks of staying at home, it's time to once again take to travel. It's time to go on an adventure, relax, unravel, and unwind. At Magical Kenya, we have missed you. And while you were away, a lot happened. Our rhino population increased in number. So did our elephants and giraffes. The vast plains of the Mara became greener. And we reviewed our health and safety protocols to ensure a safe travel to destination Kenya in the new normal. We have put in place all the necessary measures to make your travel safe and relaxed, from your flight to your hotel of choice, or even as you head out for a game drive. Nothing has been left to chance. With this in mind, it's time now to rediscover the magic of Kenya and nourish your wanderlust. We are ready to reconnect you with nature as you explore new adventures and discover new places. And there's quite a lot of catch up to do. Come experience the great wildebeest migration at the Masai Mara. Or if you're into aquatic escapades, then the incredible whale migration at the coast awaits you. Sample a variety of sumptuous dishes from across the country. So pack up your bags and get ready to treat yourself to an exciting adventure as you rediscover the true magic of Kenya. Magical Kenya. Rediscover the magic.
Thank you very much. And indeed, we are waiting for you. And I hope through that brief view, you're able to see what it is that is awaiting you. I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Radier. Very enlightening your participation, your words. That definitely that video that you share with our attendees also shows something very important, that no matter how bad COVID has been to our people, it hasn't taken away the human optimism. And I think that's what drives us and must make us move forward always. So congratulations to Kenya for that spirit. And now I would like to share the floor with Mr. Mike Macharia from the Kenya Hotel Association, who will speak to us about tourism health and safety protocols. Mr. Macharia, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much, Rodrigo. I will start very quickly by just sharing the current status, we've been looking at, as private sector, we've been looking at data, and we've been trying to make trying to evaluate the situation in Kenya, and we've done this since the beginning of the crisis. So if you allow me, I'll just share four slides that will give a brief of what's been happening in Kenya, and then I will go to the protocols. So if you can see the first slide there, it shows that cumulative tests to date we've completed just over 500,000. Confirmed cases at 7.2%. The unfortunate loss of lives at 1.8%, and a huge recovery turnaround of about 64.6%. So this is data as at the day before yesterday, 21st September. We do this on a weekly basis and share it with the private sector. And this is just the graphs there that show what's happening. The red one there is the deaths, a bit fairly flat. The positivity rates over the last 3 weeks, as you can see, we are hitting 7%, at times going down to 3%, up and down. The latest one was at 6%. As you can see from this, the slide on the screen there, around the 15th of June to the 17th of August, we seem to have had some spike that seems to be coming down, as had been predicted by our government. We'd been told July, August would be our peak. So it is our hope that we've finally gone through the peak, and we are coming towards a more flat curve. This is a breakdown. It shows that in gender, it shows that most of our cases are actually male. So it seems to be affecting the men more than the ladies. And the majority of our cases are actually in the age groups of 30 to 39, unlike other areas. And as you can see, only 6% of the cases are above 60, while the 40 to 49 is just around 19%, and the younger ones are 23%. And this is a prevalence of symptoms: cough, fever, difficulty in breathing, the major ones. Then the rest, the headache, sore throat, and running nose, come below that. These are the fatalities, again, by age. Total fatalities at 1.8%. As of 6 September, 75% of the deaths were male patients, and 25% female. So again, there something to do with gender and the virus. And then, of course, we have the comorbidities, the underlying conditions. 54% of the deaths are known to have underlying condition. Then we have some missing data, and 9% were known to have no comorbidities. We've been sharing this comparing with the other destinations of the world, but then we've seen that it doesn't really help that much, because there's so many different factors that come into play. But it's good to see that the cases in Kenya are not really as bad as one would have imagined. So let me try and get this other screen. Then we can now look at the protocols, and maybe we can try to relate the low incidence of COVID-19 in Kenya to a quick government action at the beginning. So here we developed protocols as PS Safina had indicated. What she forgot to mention is that she's the one who actually led this process. She chaired this committee that was put together by our cabinet secretary, Honorable Najib Balala. due to the urgency of the matter, the committee was given only 7 days. And in 7 days, they came up with this 48-page document that was also passed through the UNWTO and also passed through the United Nations World Travel and Tourism Council, the UNWTTC, and the UNWTTC gave us that safe travel stamp as a matter of confidence. So as you can see, it's quite a huge document. I don't intend to go through it all. We will be sharing it with you so that you can send it out to the audience. But just some salient features. There you have the table of contents. What's important is that we took the 4-pillar approach, where we're starting with the operational and staff preparedness, ensuring a safe experience, rebuilding trust and confidence, and implementing enabling policies and integrating innovation, because obviously the COVID situation is so fluid such that you have to keep coming up with new actions, new ideas as the situation unfolds. Then we have broad protocols for all establishments. Then we went in and broke it down now to individual specific protocols for hotels, for Airbnbs. As you can see there's a forward by the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Balala, and then of course an acknowledgement of all the various players. Then you have an introduction, objectives, then the 4-pillar approach that I had spoken about. The most important one for tourism here is obviously rebuilding trust and confidence and ensuring a safe experience when you're in Kenya. So what these protocols were meant to achieve was that you would arrive at on a safe aircraft, get into a safe airport, and move into a safe transport mode, then get into a safe hotel, then travel into a safe national park, and everything within that was sort of like a virtual zone that has different sectors where you're going in and you're able to have an experience of the country without really having to worry about coming into contact with COVID-19. Even before we developed the protocols, you will recall PS Safina had indicated that we had some returning citizens. We provided hotels and government facilities for them for the 2 or so months that we had to endure quarantine. And we must report that there was very little cross-infection in between, because we were able to train people very quickly, get the medics to train us on hygiene, get the public health authorities in, and there was very, very little cross-infection. Most of the infections that have happened since have been within the community. So in terms of operational staff preparedness, because what we had done is that we had created these protocols during lockdown. So we were preparing for reopening. So there were certain areas, the normal wash your hands, use sanitizers, adopt food and safety management systems. The most important one was a testing pre-opening of all the staff. And that we were able to achieve. We were able to give them personal equipment. We were able to convince the facilities to put up, invest in a bit more in certain areas like the front desk, have plexiglass, have personal protective equipment, and so on and so forth. And also went into training to show them what to do in case an infection is reported. So the rest is, as I had spoken, implementing the policies. We were working very closely with the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Health and other players. As the PA said, we were also involved in the development of the airport and airline protocols so that we could be able to match what we were doing on the ground with what they were doing inbound. So we were able to establish broad statements for all the tourism players. Then we went into inter-county and cross-border management. You will recall that at some point we had shut our borders for the two major cities, Nairobi and Mombasa. We had dedicated health and safety teams within the hotels and the tour operator. We have visitor declaration of travel history and medical status. And all this, we're trying to get this information in advance. We put up signages, protective equipment for clients. You find that in hotels now, you'll have a pack that has a sanitizer, a mask, and directions on what to do, how to clean your hands as you're moving from one place to the other. We went into a complete change, revamp of our hygiene practices, which were already at very high standards, but we went up a notch higher. Office operation procedures, as you can see there, the frontline staff, health preventive measures, staff training. Must report here that we've already trained over 800 tour operators, and we've rolled out over 500 hotel staff, and it's still going on in collaboration with the Kenya Red Cross as a result of these protocols. Then we went and divided it now into accommodation and catering enterprises, what you need to do, at what point, we got rid of buffet service, just to make sure that there is very little contact. We went into, table d'hôte and a la carte menu service, which also improves the standard of the entire culinary experience. We went into kitchens and found and asked ourselves, what do we need to do? Our suppliers also had to conform with the protocols. How do the suppliers, how do they get to us? We went into guest rooms, and this is an area that really beefed up. We are now turning around rooms, shutting them for a day after our occupation, changing everything, including duvets. We haven't gotten to the point where we are changing curtains, but we are doing a lot of sanitization in those areas. Swimming pool areas, we were told scientifically that chlorine is one of the agents that acts against the virus. So, but of course, we still continue maintaining distances. We had advised against opening our health clubs and spas, but now they've started reopening and following the protocols. We also developed one for meetings, exhibitions, and conferences. This usually classified under F and G in our classification of tourism facilities under the Tourism Act. And as you can see, there is almost 26 to 30 actions that can be taken there. Tours and travel agencies, we also discussed adventure sports. We have golf, we have whitewater rafting, we have skiing, we have balloon safaris, and all these were discussed. We also went and specifically isolated golf tourism and related services. As you know, this country, just like most countries in Africa, even amateur golfers play a lot with caddies. So we needed to mitigate that personal contact and put out all these measures that needed to be taken. As you can see, we thought about everything: zip lining tours, as you can see there, motorsports, cycling, walking. Betty had spoken about rock climbing and mountain biking activities when she was talking about Mount Kenya, water sports, scuba diving, all these We also went and addressed the professional safaris, photographers, tour guides, beach operators, the local transport companies, the air charter companies, and tourism vehicles. We had to reduce the carrying capacity to conform with the social distancing. Hot air balloon safaris, airline and airport over here comes in just as small addendums, even though we have a full airline and airport protocol. We also discussed about national parks, amusement parks, conservancies. These are also under a different category within the tourism classification. We discussed nature walks. I'm trying to move very fast. Homestays, your typical villas and Airbnbs. We, as you know, as part of our offering, we also visit communities, the cultural village and informal sites. And we were able to also bring them on board. So, and then of course, the shopping areas, the curios and the general vendors and what they needed to do in order to provide the services. And obviously we put together a core regulatory approach led by our Ministry of Tourism and the agency, which is the Tourism Regulatory Authority, together in conjunction with the Ministry of Health. It's quite a hefty document. I was thinking I'd be able to go through it in less than 10 minutes, but I can see I have 14. We will share this with you at the embassy, and we'll also share the data on, if you're interested in our weekly data, we could also share that with you so that you can inform people as they come in, so that they know exactly what's going on in Kenya. Let me stop there. I can see I've overshot by around 4 minutes, and we'll be happy to take any questions later. Thank you very much, Rodrigo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mashira. As well, your exposition has been very interesting, very enlightening. Very important here to congratulate and thanks the hospitality community for the role that it has played on this pandemic. As they were on the first stage, hotels and lodges all around the world have served as quarantine shelters to help the health community around the world due to the lack of space in some hospitals and clinics that we have. And that's one of the things that we have learned from this pandemic, that the world needs to upgrade themselves when it comes to health. Health is a very important element in any state, and I think governments must procure to invest more in that sector. And now from Kenya Airways, we have the General Manager of Southern Africa region, Ms. Teboho Fila, who will be addressing flight reservations and so many other topics that I'm sure people are still asking of when are these routes going to be open and so on. So we give the floor to Ms. Teboho.
Thank you so much, Rodrigues. And I'd like to say thanks to the High Commission for the invitation for me to come and present. I'm sharing the document through with you now. Please confirm if you can see it.
Yes, it is there.
Beautiful. So I'm just going to go back. The presentation talks back to the skies. I'm going to actually talk about the work that we did as an airline in terms of operations to resume our operation. So I'll go straight to operation preparedness. As an organization, in terms of returning to work and adhering to the policies, we've looked at our governance structures, we've looked at our regulatory environment, policy environment, returning to work steps, and the medical provision. We then also, as a business, looked at adopting the public health corridor concept. What that meant was we had to ensure that we have clean crew, clean aircraft, and the clean airport. What do we mean when we say clean crew? We had to make sure that we have a health screening process, our crews have PPE, we have clean transport, good turnaround flights, and making sure that the cabin is okay, and continuous risk assessment. In terms of clean aircraft, we looked at adapting to disinfection procedures and to have a clean airport by ensuring that we adapt to physical distancing procedures when we are at the airport. Now, in terms of the new protocols, what is it that our customers need to be aware of? The first thing that I didn't put in there, and it's not just our customers, but our partners as well, the process of digitization. It's something that we have to adopt and adapt to with the new normal. So what I'm referring to when I talk to digitization is we have to educate our customers in terms of things that they can do to reduce contact at the airport. For example, our customers need to be encouraged to check in online so that there's less queues at the airport. From a people's perspective, our customers must be educated about mandatory PPE, COVID testing, and the travel insurance. From the airports, they need to expect that there will be longer check-in, which then goes back to the digitization that I spoke to earlier on when I said they need to check in online, which will reduce the check-in process. There will be sanitization points at the airports. There will be COVID pre-testing. And in terms of the airlines, the turnaround times will be longer. Just in terms of the sales value chain. So as we sell to our guests, we need to start educating them about pre-flight screening, and they have to understand that it's regulatory. They need to understand the mandatory PPE, wearing of PPE when traveling. From the airport's perspective, we inform customers that there will be thermal screening. There is a requirement for physical distancing and mandatory PPE. On board of our aircrafts, again, we try to stick to physical distancing. We've trained our crews to offer medical support services. And while on board, it is a requirement to still have your PPE on and have your masks on. On arrival, there's thermal screening, there's touchless processes, and there's mandatory PPE. Just in flight here, I'll just highlight a few points in terms of when boarding, what is it that our customers need to know? Our customers need to know that when they handle their bags, the bags will only be handled by them, the bags can only be handled by the guests. When on board the aircraft, we've reduced passenger movements on board. So we just need to educate our guests so that there's a bit of tolerance and understanding when they're traveling with airlines. In terms of safety, the safety cards will be available on board, but there will be no other material such as magazines, headphones, and blankets. Even overnight kits will only be available in business class, but this is really mainly to maintain a safe environment on board. Our crews will wear PPE. The way they serve meals will be in disposable containers, and the interaction between the crew and the guests will be limited. In terms of duty handling, we encourage that this is done online and it's pre-ordered online. There will be one crew member handling this, and the payment will be cashless. From a cleaning perspective, lavatories will be cleaned and disinfected regularly, and the cleaning crew will be in full PPE. Just from a commercial perspective, what I referred to initially, we spoke about the reassurance. So when we prepared in terms of readiness, it was a way to make sure that we reassure our guests and our partners of our readiness to resume. Same with, we as Kenya Airways, same as with everybody else in the panel, what we did is because during the time when we had lockdown, we had operated evacuation flights. So as we resume and plan to resume, we know that the protocols that we've put in place work and they are implemented and they have been approved by the necessary bodies. So from a reassuring perspective, Our customers need to know that we are ready to fly. We have shared videos with our partners to demonstrate what we do in terms of preparing our aircraft, what we've done at the airports, and how we've trained our teams. From a resuming and recovery perspective, we resumed domestic flights in July, but resumed international flights in August. And we flew to all the destinations where we were allowed to fly, where the bans had been lifted. We are all excited now that effective 1 October, we will resume operations to South Africa. We will have daily flights to South Africa from Nairobi to Johannesburg daily. And we will have twice weekly flights from Nairobi to Cape Town. What we've also done, just from a product perspective, we have looked at our product to adapt to the new normal, and the product that we were selling pre-COVID has changed in terms of we are allowing flexibility of fares, we've extended private deals, we are offering competitive one-way fares, we have competitive pricing, and we offer EMD conversions for the passengers that have EMDs. For those passengers that would require to have their own personal space on board, we have that as a new product, and we've introduced it for sales, and which is available immediately with immediate effect. So as you start booking, this is one of the products that you can buy on Kenya Airways. In terms of our lounges, from a hygiene perspective, we have opened lounges in Nairobi, and we have trained staff. They've been provided with PPE. The health and safety protocols have been adhered to. Food and beverage handling is in line with COVID protocols, and we are certified. We were certified by the ministry to resume our operation based on the fact that we are adherent and we adhere to the protocols. Just in terms of country entry requirements, we as Kenya Airways were also one of the first airlines to actually have a product that we promoting for passengers to actually go into. It's a link that they need to click onto whenever they travel. What this link does, it informs customers. It can also, it's a product, it's something that can also be used by partners, tour operators, travel agents. It informs passengers about entry requirements in terms of documentation when they fly. So what the system basically does, it prompts you to put dates of when you travel, whether you're a South African or not, where you're traveling to, and you actually then it will tell you the visa requirements, what you need to do in terms of getting ready to a specific destination that you're traveling to. And having said that, we are really looking forward to starting and resuming our operation. As indicated, borders have been opened effective 1 October. We as Kenya Airways are also going to resume our operations from the 1st of October when the borders reopen. We're looking forward to working with our partners to welcome our guests back on board so that they can experience the magic of Kenya. Thank you for your time. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fila. Very interesting as well, your participation on our webinar today. I think that much of what you have said has enlightened us, not only for the case of Kenya Airways, but I imagine that this would be basically the same protocol that airlines all around the world will be following in order to, we need to understand what the new normal is. I think we need to be clear that it's not just walking back again to an airport and rushing into the counter and trying to go to duty free to get our stuff to bring back also, and getting on board and having the meals as we use and watch the movies and use the now, and we need to adapt to it. Thank you very much again. And now I'll give the floor to Mr. Joseph Wikia from the High Commission of Kenya in South Africa, who will address consular requirements for traveling to this country. Mr. Joseph, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'll take you through the requirements for traveling to Kenya. And okay. I hope you are seeing my screen.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay. I'll start by saying that the Department of Immigration, or the Directorate of Immigration, operates on two broad guiding principles. That is, one is to enhance secure migration. That involves denying entry and transit to elements that may be a danger to national and global security, as well as social and economic well-being of mankind. I'll not deliberate too much on that. I'll go to the second principle, that is facilitation of legal and beneficial migration. The department endeavors and continuously tries to improve on processes and procedures to allow efficient facilitation of global movement of people for business, investment, residency, positive culture, and leisure. On this note, I would wish to move to what we've done to mitigate for the processes, especially post-COVID-19. As you see, Kenya has gone e-visa, that is paperless processing of visas for countries that would require visas to come to Kenya. And for a majority of countries, we have a visa-free regime. So for the rest who require visas, their visas would be processed electronically from either their businesses or their houses, and they'll be able to approve those visas within a day, at most 3 days. And the cost is $51 for all visas, either business or tourism visas. For those who do not require visas, will also be processed online. That is, their entry pass will be issued online. You will not need to visit any embassy or visit an office for these services. They will be done. You will apply online and they will be approved. As you know, also, Kenya has a visa-free regime for children under 16, so that we may encourage a visa-free visit for those children so that they can join families. So it's a way of encouraging family tourism. When it comes to facilitation of investment, the department has also gone online. So all the processes are automated. You apply from your home or from your business premises, and the paperwork will be done online, and you'll be issued with your investor permit, which will carry also a resident permit. So once you get your investor permit, it also serves as a resident permit. It will not be required by the Department of Immigration to process an other permit. The capital requirement threshold is also low, that is $100,000. As I said, the permit will be processed online within a month. Even then, you are also allowed to enter the country through a 3-month visa, which is extendable for another 3 months as you try to settle up your investment and other issues. We also have Kenya Investment Authority, which facilitates with all other country requirements. With this, investors are also allowed at least 3 expatriates of their choice, that is to take care of your investment. Mostly we have finances. So you trust somebody you know well with your finances. So there are those positions that will be allowed to bring in 3 people. For investors also, you will also, that is not available within the country or locally, and you'll be given sufficient time to train a Kenyan to take over. In processing of resident permits, we also have those people who may not want to do any business or seek employment in Kenya, who would want to come to Kenya to enjoy the tropical climate, as well as other benefits of the warm weather and the good people of Kenya. We have a resident permit that we will be able to issue to you. It will be processed within a month. And the requirements that you have to prove that you have sufficient income outside Kenya to support your livelihood while in Kenya. Then you will be able to enjoy your life for the duration you wish. We also find that Kenya is an aviation hub when we come to the East and Central Africa. It's an aviation hub, and therefore we have a lot of transit passengers moving to other destinations. And for this, the country allows passengers who are on direct transit, visa-free entry into the airport, and so long as they don't leave the precincts of the airport. But in case they would wish to transit on land, then they would need to apply for a transit visa, which is also a e-visa, which costs $21, and it is also processed online. There is no paperwork required. It's a paperless process. So I would like also to note that immigration as a department is the first point of call when somebody arrives in any country. It's the first experience with a government official in that country. And therefore, we also strive to be friendly to our visitors and handle them with care. It's also the last point of contact with a government official when somebody leaves the country. So the impression that the person lives with may last for a long time. So we also try to make the experience good for the traveler. So with that, I would like to end and thank you and invite any questions concerning the same.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Also very enlightening your presentation in regards to the requirements to travel for South Africans and others to your country. I would like to ask the attendees to please, if you have any questions for any of the panelists. We have not received any questions as yet. Kindly send your questions in the next minute, please, so we can address them. I must say that in general, this has been a very eye-opening webinar this morning about Kenya. There were many things that I myself wasn't aware of, and I think it's very enlightening to know all about what the governments are doing in regards to opening the borders, what the hotel associations, how the tourism board of the country is organizing that opening, how the airlines are preparing to fly, especially now to South Africa, which many people in South Africa are still waiting for that list that I think very soon the Minister of Transport is going to share with everyone, and we will know what will be the restrictions of places where we can travel to or where they can travel from. I know that many people have been away even from their families for many months, and they're looking forward to be able to join them again. So yes, thank you to all the panelists for this, and Joseph for your information about those visa requirements. Waiting for yes, we don't have actually any questions right now. I would like to quickly invite the High Commissioner if she would like to say some closing words. High Commissioner.
Hello. Yep, I'm right here. Thank you so much. I think the presentations have been very rich in content, and what they demonstrate is that we have a very integrated response and policy that encompasses different agencies, government and private sector, to come up with one coherent policy and strategy on how we're going to reopen our country for tourism. So I'm looking forward to getting a response from the wider audience that signed up and participated in this webinar to receive this information. We, as the presenters have indicated, the presentations can be made available just because they're quite detailed. And I think the presentation that Mr. Mike Macharia shared, also we can make sure that's available to the wider audience, because it outlines some of the key interventions that the government has put in place. We actually did have that presentation on our website, but we'll make sure that we send it out through, I think, Ambassador Rodrigo, through Embassy Direct. We can avail that documentation and any other, just so that all the questions and issues that have been raised through these presentations can be shared with a wider audience. But thank you once again for everybody who participated in this forum, and we look forward to continuing the dialogue and the discussions on all the issues that have been shared on this platform. So Ambassador Rodrigo with Embassy Direct, thank you very, very much for facilitating this event.
Thanks to you, High Commissioner. Thanks to the distinguished panelists. We have really learned and been informed a lot about how to travel to Kenya and what we can expect once we arrive there. I think it remains to be the same beautiful country it was before COVID. We just need to understand that we will have to take it in a different way, but still we will be able to enjoy it. To our attendees, thank you for joining us today. We will be back next month with webinars also following the global reopening of tourism. So have a good day and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.